I am almost 42 years old, and I just realized that I don't set boundaries in my life. And I thought I could get away with it because I'm a people pleaser, but shit in my life is colliding. And it's not because of anybody else's fault, but my own. So, Maria, I would like to discuss many things with you today about boundaries, gossip, and living in a country where you cannot be at peace or trying to please everybody because you never can. So, welcome back to Be Unfiltered.
Episode.
No, we don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know what episode because we've been on hiatus for so long. But let me just say, this is an episode.
This is the episode.
This is an episode in season 2 and the episode to listen. Welcome back, you guys.
Sex, relationships,
Careers.
and just plain life. From the experience of two Latina actresses.
Welcome to The Unfiltered. Hi, I am Vanessa Tomasino.
And my name is Maria Bruson. This is episode 22, by the way.
Thank you, Maria.
Of course.
She's so smart. So, I have deep issues with wanting to be accepted and loved. I understand now that it has a lot to do with my inner child feeling like she has to be perfect to be loved. I don't think my inner child believes that she can be loved if she's not perfect.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I want to please everyone. I'm a people pleaser. I am one of those people who can never say no.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets me into a lot of trouble, Maria, because there are certain things that I don't want to be a part of, but I'm so weak in setting boundaries that I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And then I find myself in a mess, you know.
Yeah.
And it happens everywhere in my personal life, at work. It's everywhere, really. I'm not saying I have to say no to everything, but I think that there's something really cool about setting limits of love, by the way, to respect yourself.
Mm-hmm. So you think that you have a problem with setting boundaries in
Mhm.
all aspects of your life? Like,
Yes.
okay.
And it came to a screeching halt with my parents. You know, this past few months have been really hard because I've had to deal with the fact that I've never actually told my parents that I'm a grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can see that I'm a grown up. I am a grown up. I mean, I may not always act like one. um, but there were times where I even perhaps invited them into my life as if I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not blaming my parents.
How so?
For example, if my dad said something like, "Hey, tell me more about your friends. How are they doing? Are they cool?" And then I go, "Oh my god, Dad, you need to listen to all of this." And I start talking to them about, to my dad about my friends. And then he's like, "Oh no, I don't like your friends anymore because they're weird. You can't go out with them anymore."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "I'm 41, almost 42. You can't tell me who I can
Mm-hmm.
see."
Yeah.
But it's my fault for inviting him by telling him about my friends. See my
Okay.
point?
Yeah.
Like, I never, like, how many times do you call your parents and are like checking up on their lives? Who are you going out with? Who are you seeing? Where are you hanging out? Do you do that with your parents?
Not really, no.
But for some reason, they think they can do that with us because they still see us as kids. And to be quite honest, not all kids or children are people pleasers. Like, I've met in this past few weeks a lot of other people who have said to me, "Vanessa, how haven't you put a stop to this?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, they did that when they
Including
were
me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they put a stop to their parents when they were 18. I talked to this 22-year-old the other day, and her mom said something like, if you can't play by the rules of my home, then you're going to leave. And she said, bye.
Yeah.
She said, bye. If you're going to threaten me with kicking me out of the house that I thought was also mine, then bye. And I was like, you said that? She's like, I did. What did your mom say? She's like, okay. And then I said to her, and if I leave, this is amazing, by the way. This is
Mhm.
all like a revelation to me.
Mhm.
She's like, but if I leave, you will never see me again. I was like, damn,
Yeah, it
girl.
takes a good pair to be able to be that sure of your decision. Yeah,
Assertive.
assertive of
But
your decision, and
but
like
she knew she was being controlled by her mom. She was able to recognize
I
the
can relate to that
abuse.
actually with my relationship with my mom.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think I have a boundaries problem with my personal life. It's
Mm-hmm.
more my professional life, like my
Mm-hmm.
job, that I have problems with boundaries. With my mom, actually, I left for college when I was 18 and I lived in the US for 5 years. And then when I came back, it must have been hard for her to have her daughter back, but it was not the same Maria that left
Yeah. Oh, it's
for
always like
college.
that.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a total different person,
Yeah.
and wanting to control your child like you used to, but she's a different person now. She's grown up. She's more independent,
Yeah.
and she tried to overstep some boundaries, and I had to talk to her, and I had a lot of help with my therapist and whatnot. But then when I started contributing to my household,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was able to, step up and say, like, this is not okay. This is okay. This is not okay.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be contributing to this household,
Mm-hmm.
then I also have a say on hours, on parties and gatherings and whatever, what we buy, what we don't buy, who's over, who we invite over,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So I don't think I have a problem with boundaries with my family.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're amazing. But once
No,
again,
it's just my personality.
but that's the thing. Why don't I have that?
I
Like,
don't
what is
know.
it about? Is it because I'm a Libra?
No, you're supposed to have balance, but there's no balance.
Zero balance. I let
Yeah.
people step all over me. And once again, I'm not saying that my parents are bad. My parents are amazing. I love them both. And my mom, especially my mom, because my mom, she was a single mom. She
Mm-hmm.
was such a fighter, and everything she's wanted to do in her professional life, she's done. I admire my mom so much, but I'm also very aware of these relationships, like she keeps on telling me things like, when, you know, it was easier, our relationship was easier when you were in Canada. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, because I was in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
because I had my home where everything was exactly the way I wanted it. And she respected my space. But now that I'm here, it's very difficult to respect that space because we're so close, And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so I'm not hating on any parent. I'm just saying it's really hard to set boundaries because we respect and we love our parents. And if we say something like, hey, I need my space, they will take it like, oh, you don't like me anymore. You hate me. I gave you everything. I gave you life, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'm the only person that really loves you. It's hard.
It is hard. Yeah. Because, like, in their eyes, something's changed.
Exactly.
In your eyes, it's like, I need this to be able to have a healthy relationship with you, you
Yeah,
know?
I'm a grown up, well, I think I'm a grown up,
Mm-hmm.
so I've been noticing that, but boundaries for me, it goes to a deeper issue, and I think it's the issue of, once again, what I was just saying right now, of feeling like I have to be perfect to be loved, and I'm a people pleaser. So anything anybody says about me, negative things about me, I lose my cool, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I know we are all like that because we're human and we're sensitive. I get that. But me, it throws me into this tailspin of even questioning my own life, where I go, because if anything, like, let's say if my dad says something like, get it together, you're acting crazy, what's wrong with you? I will take that to heart and I will go home and be like, I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And actually believe that I'm crazy, and And in a country like El Salvador, it's a Central American country in Latin America, it's so small that it's like a town where everybody knows everybody. And there's so many rumors and gossip. And then if anybody says anything, you just feel bad. I've had rumors about me forever since I was in high school. I've always been a very controversial character in this country. And I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was living in Canada, I was working as an actress, very successful at the time. It was 2003 or 4. So I was just starting my career, but I was already as a lead in a series, in a cartoon, and I was doing well. I was a 22-year-old kid,
Mm-hmm.
doing super well. I hadn't been to El Salvador in a long time because I was processing my Canadian residency and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. So I couldn't leave. So I had to be in Canada for 3 years straight. So I hadn't seen my parents. I hadn't seen anybody. Anyway, I found, and this was at the time where there was no internet. I mean, there was internet, but you had to go to the cyber cafes. Like people, it's not like you had it on your phone.
Yeah, can't relate.
No, I know, no Facebook. It was high five and all that stuff. Anyway,
MySpace.
MySpace, and so when I came back, I think it was 2004. People were asking me, "Where are your kids?" And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, we all heard that you have 3 kids and that your husband or your lover, because you never got married, abandoned you, the father of the kids. Or apparently I
What?
had one kid from a different dad, something like that. And he had abandoned you because you got pregnant and you never became an actress. I was like,
What?
what? This was a piece of gossip that started floating around in 2000 when I left. And then in 2004, I was supposed to have like a 3-year-old kid or something like that. 3 kids, by the way. Like I popped them like,
Yeah.
candy. And so I'm going like, what? Who's saying this stuff? And they're like, oh, at the university, because I went to a university in El Salvador. And they're like, your peers said that they overheard somebody saying that you got pregnant when you were like 19 or 20, and then you never became an actress, and now you have 3 kids without a dad.
Oh my god.
I was like, what? I mean, and I got upset. I was like, who is saying this stuff? Why aren't they talking about the amazing things I'm doing in Canada? Why are they talking about me being left by a man with 3 kids? Like,
The negative is always like more interesting than the positive, I feel like. It's just
exactly.
part of, I don't know if it's our culture or if it's just like human nature that we like morbid stuff. We like, like weird.
There's an explanation to it. I mean, for this podcast, I would like to say that I'm not very bright and say things like, "Oh, people are just haters." But let's be honest, you and I are 2 very smart women.
Yeah.
The reason why people do this is because we, in this country, we don't have many opportunities to live the best life that we want,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean that financially too. Like you don't get to do whatever job you want. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like in the States where you can be an astronaut if you want. Here you're limited to certain jobs, and even then, you're not guaranteed that you're going to work in that area.
Yeah, I know.
So there's a lot of frustration. So, what do people do when they're unhappy with their lives? They talk about other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. I know that because I do that too. When I'm unhappy with my life, I will look at somebody else who's doing better than me and be like, oh, she's doing that because she slept with someone. Oh, because she's rich. Oh, because she's skinny, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, I'm not really talking about that person. I'm talking about myself. It's a
Yeah.
reflection of my unhappiness.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have collectively a country that feels frustrated and for the men emasculated, you will have a lot of gossip, and you will have a lot of people saying things that are untrue, but also that are very hurtful to the people who are thriving.
Do you catch up on the times that you do that, like unconsciously?
When I criticize,
Yeah.
I'm fully aware. And it makes me feel very uncomfortable. It makes me have to sit down and say, what is wrong with my life?
Yeah. I don't think I mean, I'm a very resentful person. So like the only times I'm gonna be talking bad about someone is when someone has done something bad to me.
But the thing is, perception of being bad is very subjective.
Yeah.
Like I could say, I don't know, let's make something up, but let's just say that you went out for ice cream and you didn't call me and ask me if I wanted ice cream, and I'll be like, oh, she's mad at me. She's my best friend, but she's clearly mad at me because she didn't ask me about the ice cream.
Hmm.
So now my perception is that you've done something to me when perhaps you haven't. So being resentful can get,
Maybe,
it can get you in a lot of trouble.
but no. I mean, yes, being resentful is not a good thing. I admit that, but I'm talking about like actual real like stuff that like the person has to know they've done something wrong. They
Okay.
have to know.
Yeah.
That's like the only time that I'm gonna, and I know it's not cool. I know it's like kind of fucked up, but I don't know. And I don't care.
And I don't want to talk
And
about
I
it.
don't care. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, "What's wrong with me?" I'm like, no, they're the bad people. I'm not.
Huh.
I'm not bad.
See, I am not like that. I always question my position, always. And I always doubt my perception of reality. I mean, the only positive thing about that is that you never take anything for granted, and there are no absolutes. Like I will never say I'm 100% right ever.
Hmm.
Chances are I will say I'm so confused. I'm so wrong. It's more likely that that's going to happen. Um, but I do find that when I feel something negative about somebody without a reason, something's wrong with me. I don't understand the people
Oh,
that,
100%. If you
right?
like, if there's like a weird feeling about someone that you barely know, or you may know, but if there's something like weird and they've done nothing wrong and they're actually like good people, then there's 100% a problem with ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people, like I was hearing about, a friend of mine was telling me about this girl who hates everybody.
Huh?
She's like, I hate her because she's a liar. I hate her because she's a slut. I hate her because of how she dresses. I hate her because she's a classist. And I'm thinking, okay, hold on, hold on. You can't hate so many people without having to evaluate yourself. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't hate anybody. I don't.
That also comes out like with like how mature you are, I feel like, because some people need to just grow up.
Yeah.
Like I can see that happening. Like I do a lot of teenage girls makeup,
Mm-hmm.
and they're always like, the co-ed schoolgirls,
Mm-hmm.
they would always talk bad about the all girl school
Mm-hmm.
girls,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
La Floresta. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're sluts, and I'm like, they're not.
Like
They
that.
just, obviously they grow up in an environment with only girls, and when they have to put men into the equation, like boys into the equation, they feel weird about it because they don't have the social skills to like hang out with boys.
Yeah.
So they might act a little, a little strange, but that to the other girls are like sluts.
Oh my god.
So I think that also has a lot to do with how mature you are.
Well, that's the thing, but maturity has nothing to do with age. It has to
Oh,
do
of
with,
course not.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you see all these women in their 30s, in their 40s, and I hate her. They watch television, they see the women on TV, and they're like, I hate her. She's a slut. I hate her how she dressed. I hate, like,
Yeah.
well, hold on. If you're hating so many people, I think the problem lies with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I just said like a second ago, I don't hate anybody. There's nobody in this world that has hurt me so much without me taking accountability for my part in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody here is what's it called, innocent. We're all at some point part of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if I come and say, oh, I hate her, she's a slut, I'm like, no, 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 there's something wrong with me that I'm projecting onto her, something that I don't like about myself that I'm projecting onto
Mm-hmm.
her. It's not normal to hate people that you don't even know or that you've heard stuff about. You don't know them. That's like saying, I hate that book without reading it, or saying I hate this food without trying
That's what
it.
I was gonna say. Like, you can't love or hate anything if you don't know them or you haven't tried that.
Mhm. And if
Yeah.
somebody says to me, which has happened many times, where I go like, "Oh, what do you think about this movie?" And they go, "I hated it. Such a terrible movie." If I went by that person's review, then I wouldn't see that movie. But instead, I am a critical thinker, which means I
Mm-hmm.
think by myself. I don't have people surrounding me telling me what to do or what to think. I watch the movie and then I can evaluate. And it turned out in that case, the movie was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. One of the best films I've seen.
Which one?
Hunger
Oh, okay.
on Netflix. Amazing movie. But if I went with somebody else's review saying it's too slow, it's boring, I didn't get it, I am missing out on the opportunity to learn something.
Also,
Uh-huh.
who are you hearing it from? Because it's probably someone who doesn't know about
Mm-hmm.
film or the film industry. It's just like believing someone's word when they say I hate her, I hate this person, and then you realize that your friend was hurt by that person because she stole her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
It's very objective. You can't
It's not subjective.
subjective.
Mm-hmm.
uh you can't really go by someone's word when they're too biased.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we all have our positionality in this world.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing happened with the war. This is a controversial subject in El Salvador, but let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask anybody, they'll be like, oh, the bad people are the guerrilla fighters,
Yeah.
because I had an hacienda and my hacienda got attacked by the
Mm-hmm.
guerrilla fighters. Okay. Then you ask somebody who was fighting the guerrilla side, and they will say, well, the army and the people and the rich people, were the problem because they killed my family,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who is right? They're both right in the sense that they have both suffered, because
Yeah.
you cannot invalidate the experience, right? But then statistically speaking, who's right? Who's right?
No right or wrong, I feel like.
I mean, when it comes to feelings, there's no right or wrong. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they both suffered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, statistically speaking, there is research to show who was more violent. There are numbers that will tell you in the war who committed more crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is statistics. You don't have to agree with it, you don't have to feel anything about it. But what we're saying is the people will have an opinion because they felt something.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that that's the absolute truth, though. It's their personal
It's
feeling
their
truth.
truth.
It's
Yeah.
their emotional truth, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not their
Yeah.
truth. It's their emotional truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um. So if we don't ever have the truth of a person, why should we go and hate them? It makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they've hurt you, do you know the story behind why they hurt you? Because hurt people hurt people. That's just the truth. If you're hurting, chances are you will hurt someone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that that person's a bad person, it's that person is hurting and they hurt you. So it's not as simple as saying she's a villain, he's a villain. There's something behind. And as humans, we do not have enough empathy or critical thinking to separate both.
Yeah. Also, like, now that we got into controversial topics, also the whole transgender
Hmm.
thing going on in the United States, like there's a factual truth and there's an emotional truth.
Hmm.
Like, we're no one to invalidate trans people's feelings and their identity and how they identify. That's perfectly fine, but there's also a factual truth of bone structure, of genetics and stuff, so it is controversial, and like we can't just rule out any truths.
Yeah, we have to be sensitive to these topics and inclusive and not judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. We don't live in that country, Maria.
Yeah.
We don't live in a country that is inclusive and or sensitive to the very different topics that are very important to human development.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
I don't know.
Cry. That's what Vanessa
Yeah.
Tomasino does. She cries at night.
Cry it out.
Cry it out. So, what do you do in a country that is so full of gossip, resentment, anger, frustration, and you're a people pleaser like me? You see my dilemma?
I mean, you can't control gossip though. People are gonna talk regardless, either good or bad.
Even if you're an amazing person, that you don't leave your house and you're like a nun.
Like
They will still criticize
I'll give
you.
you an example. The other day, you actually defended me on social media. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
I recorded a TikTok, like, you know, it was a joke. It was sarcastic. It was, a POV saying like, oh, your client that brings in her own makeup and her foundation is 5 shades lighter than her actual skin tone. And someone replied like, that's not cool for your clients. You think that with this type of content, like, people are gonna feel confident like going to get their makeup done with you? And I'm like, it's a fucking joke.
Wow.
Like, grow up. And they probably think that I'm a terrible person and that I hate my customers, and like I'm telling my customers to not bring their makeup, and like you don't know me, first of all. Second of all, my clients, they know the kind of person I am. My friends know the kind of person I am.
She's amazing.
They know the kind of service that I provide when people
Excellent.
come in to get their makeup done, and they're like, they make this public allegation towards me, and they have no idea how that might, I say might because I don't think it's gonna impact, but how they might impact my business for a fucking joke. So like, you can't control other people's like opinions and how they gossip and what they say about you. I mean, I feel like you just have to walk on like broken eggshells nowadays, because anything that you say is going to be used against you.
Absolutely. And that's why I got off Twitter.
Yeah.
The last time I was on Twitter, I made a comment about my own PTSD with the war. I mean, for those of us who lived the war,
They probably brought up how privileged you are and this and yeah.
among other things,
Yeah.
they said something about me not wanting to live in a peaceful country. And so when I said that, it was so weird to see so many armed men on the streets again. It reminded me of the war, and it really triggered my anxiety, because the last time I saw so many armed men was when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
And so I put that, and it was, fuck, looking back on it, it was just a stupid feeling. I don't know why I have social media is such a, it's such a terrible weapon. You can
Yeah.
use it for good, but they can also use it against you. I was just expressing my PTSD,
And they
how
will use it against
they will
you.
use it against you. I was just feeling really scared, and it felt weird. And then I had the entire country turn on me, and not only random people, but also obviously the bots, because that's what they get paid
Yeah.
for. But also politicians
Oh my
threatening
God.
my life. And I'm going, where are my rights here? As a citizen, am I not getting protection here? Like, it was such a weird moment in my life. And that's when I realized that you can't you can't say this stuff because there's no freedom. I'm not saying that we have to shut up, but we have to be very careful,
Mm-hmm.
because anything can be taken out of context.
Yeah.
Anything can be taken out of context. Anyway, and so coming back to this idea of people pleasing and taking things out of context, do you also have to hide for the rest of your life? I mean, I'm going to say this, Maria, and it's the reality. You are, in a way, a public figure, not just because you're an actress and you have your hair salon and stuff like that, but you also get sponsorships by
Yeah.
brands and stuff like that. And you are on TikTok, and people appreciate your content. I love your content. You're
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
So you're a public figure, right? People will come out and say that they hate you. Is that going to make you hide? Will you stop living your life the amazing way that you live your life just because other people feel intimidated or they feel threatened by you? No,
No.
no, because it's your life.
And I feel like no one's prepared to, because you're also a public figure, and like any day you don't know, like we don't control the virality of the content. We don't know if like tomorrow or in 1 hour you're gonna go from 14,000 followers to 1,000, 100,000,
Or canceled
or
altogether.
canceled altogether.
Mhm.
No one really prepares you for that.
Mm-mm.
And the emotional toll it can take on you.
Mhm.
The other day I was talking to these girls. I was in a bachelorette party trip
Mhm.
actually, and some of the bride's friends that weren't my friends, they were talking about it like, oh yeah, I don't feel bad for celebrities. They were talking about this well-known celebrity. She has a
Mhm.
makeup brand. I'm not gonna say her name, but she has a
Yeah.
makeup brand. She talks about a lot about emotional health and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, I don't feel bad for her. Like girl, you chose to be in the spotlight. Like you chose to like grow up hair. I'm like, are you listening to what you're saying? Like, to take off the human factor of a celebrity just because they are in the public eye, that's so fucked up. And I'm sorry, girl, that's not how it works.
And you know what's sad too? The idea that they think that you lose your rights because you're on TV or in a magazine,
Just because you're a public figure doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt.
that you're not
What?
human.
Yeah, like, do you deserve to be called fat or ugly, or do you deserve being told that you should die and go kill yourself? Like no. And they're like, yeah, I'm not saying that you deserve it, but I mean, like, if you decide to be in the public eye, then you should, suck it up. I'm like, that's not how it works. I'm sorry.
That's not how it works. Everyone's human, and I hate when people just they throw hate behind a screen or a cell phone. Like there's someone else receiving that,
Like an actual human being.
feeling that. The words do hurt. But once again, coming back to that about, words hurting, for example, I love this. I
Hmm.
Mark Manson,
We
brilliant.
love
We
him.
love him. And it's funny because we love him and his way of thinking is very masculine. It's not very
Hmm.
feminine, yet there's so much truth
Yeah.
in his words. I mean, I think that sort of rational masculinity is very helpful for us. So this is one of my favorite quotes that I've read from him in the past few weeks. It says, which I have applied, by the way. It says, you must develop the ability to be disliked in order to free yourself from the prison
Ooh,
of other people's opinions.
nice. I'm gonna I'm gonna get that tattooed on my forehead.
It's true.
Yeah.
Just listen to it again. You must develop the ability. So it's not a choice. It's an ability, almost like a tool. You must develop the ability to be disliked in order to free yourself from the prison of other people's opinions.
I like what you said, like a tool.
It's a tool.
Like, I feel like with these things, we have to have like a toolbox with
Hmm.
tools and tactics and stuff in order to be able to navigate these things,
Yeah,
these circumstances, these things that we cannot control, to be able to be free.
these are tools.
Yeah.
And you know what I like? It's the idea of you develop the notion, to be disliked. You develop that strategy of saying, I don't have to be loved by everybody, which is what we wake up in the morning.
That's where I wanted to get to. That's where
Yeah.
I wanted to get to. Why do you think some people, because I'm pretty sure we are the same way in this thing.
Hmm.
Why do you think we want to be loved by everyone? And like, when one, even though
Hmm.
10 people love us, if one of them
Hmm.
shows hate, why is that louder than the love we receive?
Hmm. It's because we want validation and we feel that the one person that throws hate at us is invalidating our life. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost that's why we put so much weight on that voice.
Mm-hmm.
You have 10 people saying, Maria, we love you. And then you have this one sourpuss girl
Yeah.
saying, I hate her because she speaks English,
Oh my gosh, I hate, like
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
exactly. And
Why does
so
it hurt so much
it
that I
hurts
can
so
see?
much because you're like, why is this one person? And she's not, she doesn't understand me. Who cares?
Yeah.
The fuck cares? Like, and that's the thing with this, right? Here, somebody wrote, and at the end of the message, they say, yes, but how?
Mm-hmm.
The how is in action. The way I applied this quote was, let me be disliked.
Yeah.
Let me be disliked. I'm no longer going to be this Vanessa who is nice and always respectful and innocent. You want to call me crazy? Bitch, I can show you crazy.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I like, now I have this hate towards hate policy
Mm-hmm.
in my social media. Like, I am not the one who was gonna spread hate, but if you make like a snarky, mean comment, I'm gonna come back at you 10 times worse. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm not gonna be,
Wishy washy.
swallowing up
Mm-hmm.
like this type of stuff. Like no, I'm in my unapologetic era. I don't give a fuck.
because you have accepted the ability to be disliked,
Yeah.
and that will free you from everybody else's opinion.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm
Love
working
that.
on. I'm working on that too. The other day I went to this bar and they had this devil horns with a tail, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't be that. I'm an angel, right?
Oh, fuck that.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
I can be a bitch too. So I took a picture. I took a picture with the horns and the tail, and it looked, damn, it looked good on me. Did I show you the picture? Hold on, let me show you this. I look really good. And then I couldn't post it. I couldn't post it on my.
Go here.
Oh. Gen Z. Okay.
Let's see the picture.
Okay. Okay. So let me show you the picture.
Nice.
Right?
I love
Me too.
it.
I love it too. It's so much
Where
fun.
is that?
At a bar. I can't remember the name. Can
I don't
you
think
see
I
it?
don't think they can see
It doesn't matter. So I hesitated to post it. Part of me was like, what is wrong with being disliked? What is wrong? Like, what's worst case scenario? Some girl writes to me and says, I hate you. You're a bitch. You destroyed my life. And I'm going to be like, okay,
Yeah.
what am I going to do about that? Yes, you can hurt me, but the only way you're going to hurt me is if I let you hurt me.
Hmm. Damn right. I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's wrong with being disliked? I think you're right. I think we have to be in that era of fuck it, hate me if you want.
Yeah, the unlikable era.
Unlikable era. You know what? It doesn't matter because you, who are probably throwing hate on us, you're probably also disliked by somebody else.
You probably don't like yourself.
Yes, you probably don't like yourself, and then you dislike us, and then maybe a lot of other people might dislike
Yeah.
you too.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in. So if you're not liked, you're disliked by others, and you're disliking us, why should it matter to us? My question is, are you paying my house and my rent? Are you giving me employment? Are you giving love to me? Are you sleeping with me? Are you marrying me? Do you give me money for my car? Do you buy me trips? Do I owe you something? No. Then does it matter what you have to say about my life?
No.
Probably not. Chances are I will move to another country and I will never see you again.
What if we don't even know this person?
That's the thing. Most people that hate on us on the computers and cell phone. I'm
Yeah.
so old. I said computers.
Yeah.
I mean on the phone, online. Oh, listen. The people who hate on us on the internet, on the
No,
line.
stop. No, not the
I am such
internet.
an old
Not the
person.
internet. On social media.
Okay, so the people who hate us on social media.
Such a Karen thing to
I
say.
know, I'm so old.
Okay.
Um, People who hate on us on social media, we don't even know them. We don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are, if you are bitter towards us, is because your life is sad. I don't know any successful person who's happy and successful who's hating on other people because they don't have time. They don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I read that quote about being disliked, it really changed my life. And then when the lady or the person behind said yes, but how? The how is in action,
Yeah.
saying, "Let me be disliked.
Yeah.
What's wrong?" You start making choices for yourself. How are you going to dress? Do you want to dress with that tight dress? Go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? You want to wear a short? Girl, go right ahead. Nobody should have any say on how you dress, on how you look, on what you do. They don't live your life, they don't pay your rent, they don't give you a job. Why should it matter? But we let it.
We let it.
We
I
let
think
it.
it's human nature as well. Like we want to be loved. We want to be accepted. Fuck that.
But
Honestly,
at what
it's
cost?
exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yes. At what cost? Anxiety? Because that's what happens to me.
Yeah.
The moment I hear somebody says, "Oh, Vanessa, this girl says she hates you because the class that she took with you was too short." And I go, "Oh my god, I should have made it 2 hour long instead of an hour and a
And
half."
have less time with my children.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
I'm at home going like, "Oh my god, I'm such a terrible teacher. Maybe it was 2 hours. I should have done 2 hours."
Yeah.
The other person's at home watching Netflix, super happy. and I'm crying at home
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't give this person an extra 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have to be liked by that person. What's wrong? What's wrong? Why do we have to be liked by everybody? It's not we're not compatible all the time. Not all people like pizza. Not all people like sushi. And
Yeah.
yet we're not telling people, "Oh, you better like pizza." And
Mm-hmm.
the pizza's not worried. They don't like me. Fuck, go buy hamburger.
Yeah.
So why do we do it? Because we want to be loved.
You want to be loved.
But it's almost like we want their love, not ours.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, wow, I'm so desperate and so needy to be loved by everybody that I'm forgetting to be loved by myself because I'm doing things that I don't want to do just to
And by the
please that
people
person.
close to you as well.
Yeah, and the
Like
people close to you.
like the love that matters is your immediate family,
Mm-hmm.
yours,
Mm-hmm.
your partners, and your children, your
Mm-hmm.
kids.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. And even then, we don't see eye to eye with our immediate
Yeah.
family.
No, but I mean, like if you have a close relationship, at least for me, it matters.
Of course, it matters. My
Yeah.
parents, and whenever they say anything bad about me, they
You're like,
destroy
ah,
me.
yeah, same.
And so I'm trying to accept the fact that they do that to hurt me because they're angry.
Mm.
But I can't stay there.
Mm.
It's like now what I do is I listen to them, right? I'm like, I go, I hear you. I'm not really hearing because that when they start saying bad things about me, I'm like, I tune out. I'm like, I hear you, but, and then I come back with something
Mhm.
else, and I don't let that sink in anymore because it can be very hurtful. So I think this is a very important lesson that we need to learn now before it's too late, before you get to your 80s and you realize that the life that you have is not your life, but the life everybody wanted for you. Before you get to your 80s and you regret your life, I think this is a time to set boundaries, to say what you like, what you don't like. And if you screw up, there's nothing wrong with screwing up. You get up. You get up.
Get back up and try again.
Yes. If somebody doesn't like you, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be liked by everybody. Let's be disliked by a few people. Because if you're disliked, chances are you're doing something right. Because those people dislike you because you have what they don't have. And maybe, just maybe, I'm being positive here, silver lining, maybe that will be the catalyst. That hate will be the catalyst for people to change. Maybe throwing so much hate to somebody may help them realize that there's something wrong with them and they may want to change their lives. Who knows?
I mean,
But once again, it's not our responsibility.
no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's been a very insightful episode. I feel like I need like 3 drinks.
Love to be back. I
Love to be
missed
back.
it so much.
It's
I
like
missed it
therapy.
so much.
I
Yeah,
missed you. I
it's
missed you so
so
much.
yeah. It's our weekly therapy that we needed.
Yeah. We get so caught up with our work and we're both super busy and we have
Yeah.
families and a life that we forget to take time for this for ourselves.
We do have a life.
I
In
know.
case you were wondering.
I know. And we're so disliked by many people and that's okay. We do have a life. But I think we need to make sure we commit to this.
Yeah.
Because it's not just good for us, but I think it's good for our listeners who sometimes feel that they're alone. And you're not. We're still here. A little late, but we're still here. If you want to send us a message, you can message Maria on her socials.
You can find me as MF Bruson on TikTok and Instagram.
And you can find me as
Vanessa Tomasino, 1N, 1S on TikTok and Instagram.
That's correct. Don't be shy. We are super nice people. We will listen to your complaints. And
but if you hate us, we'll hate you back.
I'm okay with you disliking me. Don't worry about it. But yeah, and if you want us to touch on a subject, feel free to send us as well that message. Take care. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.